This has taken me a few days to get this put together and to get it out. I've had a couple of things happen in my personal life that's held me up from getting this video done. It's taken me about a week. I had to order a new computer. Um, the same storm that took out my hard drives is actually taking out parts of my motherboard and causing me more problems than I'd actually realized at first. I don't think I did a video that explained the storm that came through that took out the two hard drives, one in my personal computer and one in my actual server I have in the house. But anyway, it's just taking toll. And then I've had family issues with my dad. Lost my mother a couple of years ago, and my dad isn't doing so well with that. And then he's let his life go, and his health is going downhill because of that, because he's just not taking care of himself. I've had to deal with that. My sister is doing her best with him because she only lives about 20 miles from him. I live quite a ways from him, so I'm not able to go help her with him. I've had to take time to deal with that, so I've had to let this go on the back burner. And making videos is actually helping me with my personal life and my pain and my disability and stuff, so I enjoy doing this. It gives me pain relief because I'm able to concentrate on doing this and learning new things about it. It takes my mind off of my pain and my disability and gives me pain relief, which the medications just can't offer anymore. Um, my disability is just progressively getting worse, and it's going to can progressively get worse as time goes, and nothing anybody can do about that. But anyway, I just wanted to preface the video, the parts that I've already got done, adding to it, and explain why it's been so long since I've gotten a video out. I've cobbled together a bunch of other videos of gameplay I've already had previously recorded, and some videos that I'm putting together. It's just a hodgepodge of gameplay. It's just random games that I play, just old games, new games, ancient games. Because I'm older. I'm in my upper 40s, close to 50, like a coat of paint close to 50. And I just like these older games. I've played them for a long time. I know the mechanics of the game. I know how to work the mechanics to where it looks like I'm cheating in some of them. And I'll be honest, and I even posted into some of the videos that I have cheats installed. Just because some games I feel like that you should be at your top level of your abilities when you start the game, especially when they don't really have a true defined way to play it as in a progression. So that's why I do that. It's just you start the game at your max level and you go through it that way. Like Skyrim, for instance, it doesn't really have a true progression through it. Dying Light 2 and Dying Light 1 really doesn't have a true progression through it. You should have started it at your max level and it's been a story. Would have been a better game that way, in my opinion. I know everybody else might feel a different way about it or have other ideas about it. That's just mine. Anyway, that's enough of this preference. And I just got back home from dealing with my dad and stuff, so this is just a preference to the video that's coming up here in a few seconds. Let's do a little more on this Techland sellout, Tencent, and why it might be good for regular players. I still feel it's bad for diehard fans. They're going ahead with the MMORPG and the second DLC for Dying Light 2. The influx of money will help ensure the projects are done if the money is allocated correctly. I can't find any instances of where they've misappropriated funds, but time management might be a different story. As for the MMORPG, there's not much they've released as of yet. I can only find 2 released concept art pieces, and I can't really learn anything from them. They don't really show much. They stated that the game is going to be an SRPG, in their words, and that normally means a strategy RPG. But they clarify that, stating that it means a survival RPG. Like, they're changing the genre name, trying to make it mean that it's a survival RPG. We don't really know what that means, or what they're trying to say that means. There's no word on what it's going to be, a single player or multiplayer or co-op or any of that. They haven't released any of that. And as far as we can tell, it's going to be a few years away anyway. And God, I hope so. I hope this thing isn't rushed. But Tencent wants to see an immediate turnaround of profits. That's how that company operates. It looks like they are only in the hiring phase of the game right now and have nothing set in stone so far. We know they have the new IP directed by a narrative director of Carolyn Steichery of Witcher 2 and 3 as well as of narrative lead Arcadius Brausk, again of Witcher 2 and 3. I'm butchering these names. I don't have a clue as how to pronounce them. Bartosz Aukman of Cyberpunk 2077 and of Witcher 3. Mario Malzos of Ubisoft, who did Prince of Persia, Sand of Time. Warner Brothers, Mad Max, and Microsoft. I'm sorry, that was Mad Max with Microsoft. And David McClure of Arcane Studios, who did Deathloop and Deep Silver, and Playground Games. Kevin Quaid, lead animator of Guerrilla Games, who worked on Zero Dawn and the expansion The Frozen Wilds of Zero Dawn. Mark Chin Suros, lead UI UX designer. I don't know who he is. Never heard of him. I don't know much about him and couldn't find any reliable information on him anyway. Other than people can fly, and I don't even know what that is. I've played some, if not most of those games mentioned, and like them for the most part. It seems like a good team. Well, they're going to add to it, but it seems like a good start to me. I hope it is. I hope they can save it. In my opinion, a dying franchise, but it's too early to say what's going to happen. I mean, they just had a huge influx of money with the Tencent buyout. So it's early game. We don't know what they're going to do with the money. We don't know how they're going to handle it. We don't know what the time management's going to be. We do know they're trying to do two big projects at the same time. And we know they're not a big development studio. They're just not. Are they going to be able to handle making a brand new game engine for an MMORPG? Or is it an RTS? Or is it a survival RTS? They don't really have anything set in stone. I don't even think they know what they're trying to do. At this moment, they're probably just trying to make a new game altogether. And they're kind of floating around. They're trying to do a Dying Light 3. They're trying to take too big of a bite out of an apple here, if you ask me. I mean, I get it. They're trying to make money. They're trying to do what all game studios do. They're trying to make money. That's what any company does. But you can't take too big of a bite and survive. You're going to choke. And I'm just fearful that they're going to choke on this. It just doesn't seem like this is a good idea to me. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope they can pull this off. Here's a statement I found from the CEO of Techland. Dear gamers, I want to share some really exciting news that will mark the start of a new chapter for Techland's history. Techland has been a huge part of my life for more than 30 years now, and it is truly something I cherish. Techland is our games, the amazing team behind them, and you, the people playing the games. You're the reason why we're making them. Whenever I think about the future of Techland, I want the best for our games, the team, and you. And while I am very proud of our achievements as an independent studio over the years, I believe the best is yet to come. We dream of turning Dying Light into the ultimate zombie game experience for players worldwide, providing you with multiple astonishing adventures and pushing the boundaries of solo and online modes to totally new levels. Open world action RPG in a fantasy setting is already shaping up to become something truly special, and the goal here is to make sure it will live up to the expectations of our first new IP in almost a decade. We can make these dreams come true. Yes, we can. But what we realize is that the best, boldest dreams can only be achieved while working side by side with like minded friends and strong partners who share the same vision, passion, and have the willingness to back it up with their knowledge, experience, and capabilities. Today, I'm happy to announce the partnership with Tencent, who are in the process of becoming Techland's majority shareholders. Teaming up with Tencent will allow us to move full speed ahead with the execution of the vision of our games. We have chosen to ally who has already partnered with some of the world's finest video game companies and helped them reach new heights while respecting their ways of doing things. We will retain full ownership of our IPs, maintain creative freedom, and continue to operate the way we believe is right. I'm also going to continue serving as studio's CEO. I couldn't be happier about us making this giant step ahead forward ahead toward the future and sharing this moment with you. Thank you for being with us on this journey, playing our games, and being an endless source of inspiration and positive energy that keeps us moving forward. The best memories are still ahead of us. That was taken directly from Techland.net. As we know, Techland still has buggy games. My PS4 has been bricked for years, but I've had a couple of people reach out to me and tell me that their PS4 version of Dying Light 2 is still buggy and crashing, and the save games are getting corrupt every time it saves. They've tried forcing saves to stop it from being corrupted, but it still gets corrupted. And they're not able to finish the game sometimes on playthroughs because the saves just get corrupted. It's just not working out for them on PS4s, and some of these people don't have enough money to go out and buy a whole new gaming system like a PS5. So what are they going to do? And there doesn't seem like Techland's going to support the PS4 anymore. I mean, it is an older system, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be supported, does it? I'm not a programmer, but it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to program for a PS4 versus a PS5. I'm sure the programming language from the operating system is slightly different, but it can't be that much of a difference to where you would need like a totally different team to go in and clean up the bugs. It couldn't be that big of a switch. It's not like it would be a completely different game engine underneath the hood. Sure, it might be a comma in a different place, maybe a period in a different place, maybe a different phrasing here or there, but it couldn't be that completely different. I don't see how it could be. It just doesn't make sense that it would be. I mean, I know PHP and a few other coding languages, and from version to version, they're never that different. So I don't see how a PS4 to PS5 would be that different. Yeah, it would be slightly different, but the codes usually are somewhat backwards compatible. Not completely, but somewhat. So to say a PS4 would be that much different than a PS5 just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it just doesn't make sense to me that it would be. And then again, I'm probably way off base on that. Let's talk about Dying Light 3 if they do choose to make it. Let's hope they get better writers. Quest designers, whatever you want to call those people. But for the love of God, make choices count in the game. Not just towards the ending, where you get a choice of 4 endings. That's all I've ever been to squeeze out of Dying Light 2 has been 4 endings. And as far as I can tell on YouTube, and any searching I've ever done, is there's only 4 possible endings. Most people only know of 3. I may show the 4, and I'm pretty sure anybody watching this channel knows about the 4 anyway, so it'd be pointless for me to do it when you can just find it yourself on YouTube. Or you've even seen it yourself, done it yourself. But make the world more, I don't know, lived in. We need to see the interactions between the factions, not just during some stupid cutscene or something. And the forced cutscenes when the door gets slammed in your face, or some other stupid interaction like that just to slow you down on purpose, to force an interaction, that's lazy coding to me. I don't understand why that was done. Maybe I just totally misunderstand the gaming industry or their thoughts behind why they're doing that, forcing certain interactions to happen. But as old as I am, and if I can outrun the interactions they're trying to force me into, or if I can outsmart their programmers into doing what I want the game to do and not allowing them to force me into these interactions, I'm quite certain younger people with far faster reactions and reflexes than I have are able to do the same. So it's pointless to slam a door in my face and make me wait 5 seconds to force an interaction that's never going to happen anyway. If you choose to side with a faction in Dying Light 3, then that choice needs to matter. At some point, you need to be locked out of doing anything for that faction, and it needs to matter to the game. There needs to be consequences, not just stupid little snarky comments made by NPCs as you pass them by. There needs to be real world consequences. Well, you know what I mean by the real world consequences. There needs to be something tangible to the decisions you make. That's how you make an engaging game. Not by making smart-ass comments from an NPC as you pass by. That's why when I'm roaming out in the world, I'll kill the PKs whenever I'm passing by if I feel like it, because, just because I don't like them. I don't like their ethos. I don't like what they stand for. I don't hate the military. I support the military, and you can dislike me for that if you'd like, but for the most part, I support the people in the military. For the young guys doing it, some of them do it to stay out of trouble. Some of them do it because they're patriotic. I have a lot of reasons for supporting people like that, and that's my choice. And you have a choice to support those people or not. But that's the point. It's a choice. And choices matter. And that's what should happen in the game. The same way. You make a choice to support them, then you're stuck with it. If you side with the PK, then you should have been locked out of the bazaar. It should have mattered. But it didn't. Well, I successfully did it again. Went off on a tangent. This wasn't supposed to be about Dying Light 3. It was supposed to be about the MMORPG and the statement the CEO of Techland released about the buyout, or merger as they're calling it, but even in his statement, he said it was a buyout. Where did he say it? He called it a merger. But he said they bought all the shares to Tencent, so that's kind of a contradictory of terms there. You don't merge when somebody buys you. That's a buyout. That's exactly what I called it when I first reported on it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of articles have been written about it, because I've read quite a few so far that have said the same thing. It was a buyout. It wasn't a merger. Dude became rich off of it, and he's only said that he's remaining in place. That's all he said. He is remaining in place. He's still the CEO, and he's happy about it. He hasn't said who else is staying. He hasn't said who's being let go. Any of that. He hasn't fixed the underlying issues of what's going on at the company that has caused them to need the influx of money. I'm peeking under the carpet here. I'm seeing what the dirt is. I might not have a microscope and be able to see it, but I can lift the rug enough with a stick to see some dirt under it, if you're catching what I'm saying here. I mean, it's not that hard to look at a company and say, why would they need the influx of money? And then do a little digging on certain websites that report game stats and say, huh, you know what? The game numbers aren't looking so hot. And that's what I did. I'm looking at some of these game reporting websites of how many people are actually playing the game. And when you have almost the same numbers playing Dying Light 1 that are playing Dying Light 2, it's about 1,000, maybe sometimes 2,000 people difference in Dying Light 1 than Dying Light 2. That's kind of a big deal. If you look at Skyrim on SteamDB, there's far more people playing Skyrim than the Oblivion franchise. There's far more people playing Skyrim than there is playing Oblivion. Again, I screwed up. That's Elder Scrolls franchise, not Oblivion franchise. But anyway, there's far more people playing Skyrim than there is Oblivion. But Skyrim's a special beast. It's a, 12, 13-year-old game. And it's still one of the most popular and best-selling games out there. And Fallout 4, those games still have more people playing it than Dying Light 2. And they're ancient in comparison to Dying Light 2. I'm not saying Dying Light 2 is a bad game, because I enjoy it. It's got its issues. Of course it does. I mean, Buggy Works, or Bethesda, has put out some bangers of bugs. They always do. And they're kind of famous for saying they're not bugs, they're features. That's why the community always puts out a community patch for their games, and it makes the game playable. You don't really have that option with Techland. They don't give us access to the game engine like Bethesda does, but it's different companies, different game engine, completely different ethos. Everything about them's different, but that going off on a tangent again. And I'm trying to keep these videos shorter. Anyway, I'm hoping Techland can dig themselves out of this and buy themselves back and be totally independent again. That's what I'm really hoping for. I'm hoping they can pull this MMORPG off. I don't know what their ultimate goal is with it. I do hope we're a couple of years away from it. I hope they do it right. I'm hoping it's a smash and they can get enough money and buy themselves back. I'm hoping Dying Light 3 comes out and it's a banger. I just don't see it looking. It doesn't look so good to me. And that's worrying. I mean, we've already got the games. I don't think they can do anything. They can't take them back if the company fails. We've already got them. We just know they won't go any further. Yeah, that's kind of sad, but I don't want to see the company fail. I want to see them buy themselves back. I want to see all that happen. But realistically, what are we looking at here? And what's your thoughts about it? Put it in the comments below. Tell me if I missed anything. I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, I do a little bit of research. Maybe I don't do enough research, but give me a like, give me a dislike. Tell me what I missed. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I know I got room to grow and need to improve. So if you want to point that out, maybe give me some criticism where I need it. Don't be nasty about it. That's just being ugly. give me corrective criticism, if you will. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye. I've been an A&D fanboy for years, but I guess it's about 10 years ago I switched over to Intel because A&D kind of fell off. So I'm moving from an Intel i7 8700K sitting on an Asus. Let me see here. I've got CPU-Z brought up so I can see what I've got because I don't remember off the top of my head. I've got a TUF Z73090 Plus gaming motherboard. It's an Asus TUF motherboard, of course. And the Intel i7 8700K. I've got it overclocked to a 4.9 gigahertz. That's what it's overclocked at to, water cooled, of course. The memory is Kingston. It's actually HyperX memory back when they still owned it. Kingston still owned it before they sold it over to HP, Hewlett Packard. I don't think they sold over the memory and their hard drive sectors. I think they just gave over their peripherals like their headsets and stuff like that. But anyway, I've gone back to AMD because the new motherboard and processor I picked up is an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X3D. And I've also moved away from Asus because of their bad practice of not supporting their customers anymore. So I picked up an MSI X670 Tomahawk, and I don't know why. I just went back to Corsair Vengeance memory. I still like HyperX and Samsung and Kingston stuff. I've always liked Mushkin. I used those for years. I went RGB for some reason. I'm not big on RGB, but also picked up a Leon Lee case, EATX case, because of water cooling. I need the room for my RADs 380s, two of them. I kind of needed the room for it. The 380 RTX 380 graphics card I have, I kind of need the room for that because that thing is about as big as the computer itself. I figured I'd just go ahead and drop my computer specs into the video. I don't think I have them listed anywhere on the my website or on YouTube or anything. So that's what I've got now. Well, it's not here yet. It'll be here. Well, the CPU will be here tomorrow. And I'll start building the rig out tomorrow, I think, because everything else is here. So it's going to be a Ryzen 9 7950 XD. I'm sitting on a MSI X670E Tomahawk with Corsair Vengeance. I went with 64 gigabytes. I think that'll do, because I usually don't ever stretch it out that much. I usually get 32 gigs, but I went with 64 for video editing. I think it'll help a little bit. 1000 watt power supply from Corsair. I think that's about all that really matters. And the NVIDIA 3080, RTX 3080. I'll probably be upgrading that next year to I don't know. We'll see what they come out with, but right now it'll probably be a 4090. I think that's about it. Anyway, this video is probably growing too big now from everything that's happened and trying to explain everything from my last video. It's taking so long to get one out. I've been trying to put 2 out a week. I'm running out of ideas already, and I know people have had channels for years. I don't know how they come up with ideas because I've already run out and I've only had a channel for about a month now. Anyway, thanks for listening. Sorry I keep interrupting the video. Anyway, hope you like it.